So that's the topic. I feel like number 11 batsman on a turning pitch, and how do I keep it interesting for the audience? But yeah, I think the best is yet to follow, and it's so wonderful to see. I think most of the award winners for BW 40 under 40 are already here. So I think a big round of applause to all the potential award winners, and those who don't win awards, please interact with Captain Vikram Singh and with everybody else, all the people in the industry, so that Kumar Vikram Singh is a legend of the industry. We are here, and so are a lot of other people. So please do interact with him. Okay. Yeah. So last couple of times I saw there were very interesting panel discussion and very interesting talk by Gary, and there were no questions. So I think, okay, that's very briefly about me. I think only the speakers love their bios, nobody else loves it. So I think I'll quickly give it a skip. Yeah. So nobody asked questions, so let me ask you questions. So can anybody tell me which are these pictures? Yeah, anybody? Yeah, we'll start with the last. I love the backbenchers. I used to be a backbencher. Yeah. To a lady and a gentleman. Yeah, this one. Which one? This one? This one? Yeah. You will be sent to Bangladesh. This is Bangalore. Okay. What is this? This one, anyone? Yeah. Love the backbenchers, the two of you. Yeah, good. South African name, African nation. Good. You're there. Anybody? Which country? Sudan. Good. Round of applause. Please tell your name. Okay. So are you giving an award or getting an award? Good. Well done. I think a bigger round of applause. Come on. Later you can tell us कि तुक्के कैसे हुआ या you are sure. Good. So what is this one? Bottom one. Yeah. Which country? Yeah, who is there? Come on. Mayank. Okay. Good. Round of applause for Mayank. Please rise. And which is this one? असली पता लगेगा. कोरिया नहीं होगा तो कहीं और होगा, उसी तरह का भाषा है. Which one? Okay. This is very interesting. This is a Chinese movie, bestseller, Born to Fly. So it is set against a Taiwan, this thing. I will just tell you, the first part of the movie is that American fighter plane comes in, American looking, American accented English speaking pilot, and comes around, and there is an old Chinese plane and comes around, chases that and tells him, go away. He says, no, we'll do whatever we want, whatever we have to. So this is in Taiwan Strait, and they come very close. Some of the fishermen nets fly, and so Americans are the boss. Part 2 is China is building something, a big factory, and then there is a fighter pilot, there is a test pilot, and there is a crash, and something happens. And part 3, China has got the same test pilot who crashes, and I'll leave the movie there. So please read this book, and I'll leave it, and what the Chinese do to the Americans. Okay. Any guesses what the Chinese did to the Americans? Okay, we'll leave it at that. So I can see the timer there. It is showing me 16 minutes and 19 seconds. 5 minutes have already been knocked off. I was given 25. It started with 20. So I'll still finish it in 16 minutes and 11 seconds that I have. So I intend to cover 3 things. In 3 to 4 minutes, I will say what are the big tech trends which are reshaping the world, and then how the world is in a geopolitical recession. There are a lot of leaders. So there is Trump, there is Xi Jinping, there is Modi, Erdogan, Viktor Orban. So every continent has got a leader. Javier Milei in Argentina, but there is no global leader. Okay. So global, so there is a recession, not in economic sense, but in geopolitical sense. And finally, about 7 to 8 minutes on India risk outlook. So ladies and gentlemen, this is my favorite slide, how the pace of tech adoption and disruption is accelerating. It took telephone 75 years to reach 50 million users. Radio took 38. Television took how many? Somebody can read it? Television how many years? Yaar, padh do koi. 13 years. Internet? 4 years. Facebook 3 years. WhatsApp and Instagram took 1.5 years. Angry Birds Space App took 35 days and Pokemon Go 19 days. Similarly, so welcome to the new world. Similarly, if you see what time it took for apps to reach 100 million users. I mean, by the time we came to ChatGPT, it was 2 months, less than 2 months, and we thought that was a lot. And how many days did DeepSeek take? Just find out. Yeah, it took days, not weeks. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 2011, a legendary investor, Mark Andreessen, he said software is eating the world, and he was right. His prophecy came true when the market cap of Tesla, which is essentially a software on wheels, became more than the other 10 car companies put together. But come 2017, a guy called Jensen Huang. Anybody who knows Jensen Huang? BYD? Huh? NVIDIA. Okay, thank you. So NVIDIA. And why NVIDIA was in the news? The day DeepSeek came, it lost $500 billion. That's about 1/7 of India's GDP. So first you have to make that much money to lose that much money. Okay. So essentially in 2017, Jensen Huang says now AI is going to eat software. And then you had, I don't know where the hell did these guys come from. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, there are about 5.5 billion people on the internet. Majority are mobile first. So earlier when we started, we learnt on computer, and before that there used to be the big ones, then you had desktops, then you had laptops, and then you have iPads, and then you have, laptops, and you have mobile first generation, and now we are moving to mobile only, because next 1 billion users will come from Asia, and most of them are mobile only. So the new generation is, this is their first camera, this is their first computer, this is their entertainment device, this is their education device. They have unprecedented choice. They are loyal to micro moments, not brands. So mobile plus cloud, and if you see on the cloud side, there is massive investments happening in data center. In Mumbai, there is a road going from Thane to Pune in Navi Mumbai. And if you see, for miles and miles, you will only see data center coming up. So there is massive investment happening in data centers, and data centers are power guzzlers. So power demand will go up about 3 times. So if you own a AI stock, not sure it will go up or down, but if you own a power stock, it will definitely go up. So mobile plus cloud plus AI will give rise to new usages, new businesses, new business models, new opportunities, and new risks. Ladies and gentlemen, the AI race has well and truly begun. If you see this one, this is basically a DARPA project. Anybody what is DARPA? It's US R&D, government R&D agency. So Pentagon funds that. So this is loyal wingmen. Now don't ask me why it is men and not women, because probably fighter pilots earlier were mostly men. So this loyal wingmen is essentially unmanned aircraft. So in a squadron, let's say you have 15 aircrafts now, they are flown by 15 or 30 pilots, depending on whether it is single or 2-seater. And now you will have a squadron with 4 or 5 of these manned aircrafts, and balance will be loyal wingmen. And they are taught in a manner that if the manned aircraft is under danger, they will come in the way and sacrifice themselves. So welcome to the new world of Air Force. And similarly, this is the submarine. Now these submarines are nuclear powered. They are trained by AI. They know all laws of armed conflict. They know laws of the sea. They can navigate. They can identify between friend and foe. And they can totally carry out limited combat at sea. So they are almost semi-autonomous fighting machines. So similarly, we will see a lot of these semi-autonomous fighting platforms. You're already seeing what's happening with the drones. The swarm of drones guided by AI and controlled by Starlink. So that is completely redefining the battle space. Motivated by DeepSeek, India has decided to develop its own large language model. Cyber security, ladies and gentlemen, is disruptive and game changing. Anybody who has been affected by deepfake? Anybody? Nobody else? Everybody is smart in the room, looks like. Okay. So damages from cyber crime, cyber terrorism, and cyber warfare is predicted to be about $10.5 trillion this year. Misinformation or disinformation is traveling faster than truth. And as we will see in the next slide, if you look at, this is World Economic Forum. If you don't believe me, at least believe them. It's Padha Likha guys, about 700 of the top Fortune 1000 CEOs come and attend this. I also attend there. I'm generally sitting somewhere on the outside in the 5th perimeter. So misinformation and disinformation, they're putting this as the top risk. Okay. Moving to geopolitics, what we have is unprecedented. We have two hot wars happening. Never happened since the World War II. We have war in Europe and Middle East. We have hostility between two top global powers, and we have trade protectionism undermining the fundamentals of global trading system. Nationalism and populism is rising. Global leadership is lacking, and there is very little cooperation on global issues. Climate continues to present the longest, the greatest long-term risk, and you will see that climate risks ranking very high on. So essentially, we are in an era characterized by a weakened Russia, Europe consumed with its own problems, and sharpening global bipolarity with US in economic cooperation, but geopolitical confrontation with a continually rising China. So global multilateral system today is under siege, and deep decoupling of global economy is undoing gains of decades. Trump and tariffs are adding to the fun. So ladies and gentlemen, Lenin said, in politics, there are decades when nothing happened, and then there are weeks when decades happen. So we seem to be in that era. So Trump is ushering in a new era in geopolitics. He has imposed tariffs on his friendly neighbors, Mexico and Canada, then withdrawn them, then reimposed them, then put them on hold. So he's treating foes and friends alike. Taiwan is watching nervously as Ukraine has been thrown under the bus. Trump has been berating Taiwan that you're not spending enough on defense. And then people are scared. What if he strikes a deal with China? He wants Denmark to sell Greenland. He wants Panama to hand over the canal. He's moved out of World Trade Organization, Paris Climate Accord, shuttered US aid. So these turnarounds in US foreign policy are being watched closely around the world, and every country will now consider how to wean itself off the US. So Friedrich Merz, who is likely to be the next Chancellor of Germany, he wants to strengthen Europe's defenses, and he's already said, we want to achieve independence from the US. So according to Fareed Zakaria, a very respected CNN analyst, the post-American world is in plain sight. If we were to listen to the former Prime Minister of Singapore and a very respected political leader, he says the US is no longer prepared to underwrite the global order. This makes the international environment far less predictable and orderly. Next big trend, the rise of Indo-Pacific, this area shown in the map, which began with Japan's post-war economic miracle and China assuming leadership at the turn of the century, and now India joining the race, represents a return to historical norms. Because if you look at history, from 3500 BC to 1700 AD, almost for 5,000 years, it was India and China which were roughly about 50% of global GDP. It was not called GDP then, but roughly we were about 50% of global wealth, and India was much bigger than it is now. So what we are seeing is just a return to historical norms. I spend most of my time in the New York, I spent about 6 months there. So Democrats and Republicans in US, they agree on nothing. There is one thing they agree on, that China's growing strength and assertiveness is a threat. Therefore, we must indulge in extreme competition and maintain significant lead in foundational technologies, military, currency, and alliances. The view from China is that US is seeking to contain, encircle, and suppress China, weaken Communist Party's hold. They feel the West is declining and East is rising. Therefore, China must take its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. They want to overcome that century of humiliation. And Taiwan to them represents the last standing symbol of that century of humiliation. They feel Tibet, Xinjiang, and Hong Kong are internal matters, vital to national security, and Taiwan and China are the reddest of red lines. So relations are unlikely to improve soon. Enduring enmity is bad for them and costly for the world. If we look at India-China relations, this is the only relation I have taken due to shortage of time. We still have an unresolved LSC. The world has a China problem, because in China, the latest statistics have come out yesterday. Their growth is likely to be 3%. 3% is what was called the Hindu rate of growth, nothing to do with Hindu religion, but just, which was the India's growth rate for 50 years. So China has moved to, and world growth rate is 3%, China is 3%. So first time in 50 years, China is moving as fast as the world, and it's not. So they are going to dump all their goods. Their domestic demand is weak. Population, for the first time, their population officially they have acknowledged has shrunk. So the demand is weak. They are going to dump all over the world. India's trade with US, EU and China, all three is about $120 billion. So roughly give or take, sometimes this becomes bigger, sometimes that becomes bigger. So military standoff still leads to political and economic tension. So there have been attempts to cool off. China has its own compulsions. When Xi Jinping feels that the economy is not doing well, when the US is getting tough, they will also recalibrate their stances. So, but by not settling the border issue finally, China can pressure India because they have managed to settle most of the other border disputes. So India needs to strike a fine balance between economic opportunities and security risks. So the way it appears from India, we are a strong swing state in the world with one superpower and a rapidly rising China. Relations with West will remain tight and stable. We will de-risk but not decouple from China. Given China's conduct, India will be more inclined towards the West. Russia is in a decline, but not terminal. Its dependence on China is increasing. Trump's overtures to Russia are not being viewed kindly in China. So India is navigating the emerging world order skillfully, tightening the embrace with the West, keeping things calm with China, and maintaining a steady relationship with Russia. And there are occasional hiccups like Canada. So Russia and France have been friends always. US is friend off and on, and China, there has always been a consistent deep suspicion and mistrust. Climate change, ladies and gentlemen, is leading to extreme weather events. You can already feel it. It's like 30 degree before mid of March in Delhi. But the impact of climate change or extreme weather events is leading to, is being exacerbated by poor urban infrastructure. So you had this much rain happening in 30 days. Now same rain happens in 12 days, and because the infrastructure of Bangalore or Chennai or Mumbai is not good, so the water doesn't flow out, so you have urban flooding. So Asia is prone to environmental disasters. Whenever a foreigner comes to them, I put this map to India, this map of India. You already know it. I just want to take you to the footnote. India's coastline used to be less, but once Modi ji came, he remeasured it. Now it is officially more than 11,000 kilometers. So I think our coastline has become bigger, or maybe there were a whole lot of island territories which we didn't know, but now we have taken them on our roster. So if you look at democracy, just see all the countries around India. China is not a democracy, nor is Vietnam. They are communist ruled countries. Myanmar, military rule. Bangladesh, you know what happened to Sheikh Hasina. Pakistan, military plays an outsized role. All Afghanistan, the lesser said the better. Iran, you know who is in charge. All the monarchies here. Central Asia. So we are the only kind of vibrant democracy in a region surrounded by. So between Korea and Israel, this is probably, between South Korea and Israel, this is probably the only true democracy. When foreigners come to me, they ask me, no, India, poor country, why are you spending so much money on defense and all? I said, you will not understand with this map. I show them this map. I tell you are United States. So American came and asked me. I told him you are United States. Let's say you have Communist Republic of Canada, which has 2.5 million army, and it's building ships very fast. It is building more nuclear weapons. Okay? And then you have Islamic Republic of Mexico, which is sending terrorists. And then you have Cuba. So how will you feel? I said, understood. That's how we look. So when foreigners come, if you are country head and all, please explain to them like this. They don't understand the complexity of India. You have to tell them, you know, we will be third largest economy. You have to tell them that, you know, in India, you take them to pawn shop, show them, okay. Tell them that, you know, our UPI does more transactions than US and China combined together. Multiply that by 2 and gap is increasing. They tell them that in 45 days in India, in a place called Prayagraj, at the Sangam, 650 million, which is the population of whole of Europe and USA, usse zyada logon ne dubki lagai. So you have to tell them, look, tumhare vash ka nahi hai. Please, you need Indian regional heads and all for Asia Pacific. Bolo to samajh mein nahi aayega. Ye to ek country dikhaya India. Sari country Asia kaise hain? I tell them that, look, India gives one EU and US ko food support. We build one Japan in one 5-year plan. We give cooking gas to one Germany every year. So don't even bother to kind of, इसे तुम्हारे वश का नहीं है, tell Americans and Europeans, I tell them, तुम्हारे वश का नहीं है boss, ये slide दिखाता हूँ. So we are prone to a lot of risks, like there is seismic activity in Himalayas, Delhi में, every time I hear कि कोई earthquake आ गया, I keep sitting somewhere else. I mean, earthquake happens a little further north, but yeah, it right comes till here. We are witnessing one of the largest migrations in human history. You know, more than 400 million people, 40 crore से ज़्यादा लोग शहरों में आ गए हैं. Every day I tell them, look, I tell some of these countries people come from Singapore, Sydney and all. I tell them, यार तुम्हारे यहाँ जितने लोग हैं पूरे शहर देश में उतना तो मुंबई में एक्स्ट्रा आ जाते हैं हर साल. उससे ज़्यादा लोग लोकल ट्रेन चढ़ते हैं एक हफ्ते में. So again the thing is, so South Asia with India at the center is a region of immense promise, intense competition and inherent fragility. Our geostrategic destiny is puppeted by global powers because China wants to get in, US wants China out and Russia wants to remain relevant. This is how this looks. This is an annual publication by us. I have got few copies left. Please feel free to take it. One major feature which is happening is earlier when I joined the service, we used to have all the problem in J&K, Northeast and some Naxal areas. But now the risks are also moving from periphery to hinterland. So you have problems of political violence in cities, you have this urban flooding, organized crime, you have pollution. Cities, just the poor urban infrastructure is leading to a lot of issues. You also have a lot of cyber and misinformation related issues and lots of it even related to e-commerce and quick commerce, to which I will come. Land, labor and youth unemployment are extremely emotive issues and they are prone to political exploitation. So period of youth and labor unrest is possible and the socio-economic disruptions will require deft handling. Maoism, ये पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं. They are losing their ideological edge and potency. Amit Shah has put them on notice, he has given them 1 more year. But see, this is what was picked up from one of their Maoist documents. They say we do not want a separate state. We are already in the state in which we want to be, except that it is not in the state in which we want it to be. So पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है. There are safety concerns. We have fire safety, life safety, structural safety, road safety. 120,000 people die every year in road accidents. Another 500,000, 4,80,000 लोग घायल होते हैं. Just not acceptable. Air quality, you see, the cities are unlivable. Delhi, you have bad weather and then a good weather comes in and brings pollution with it. So whenever you have good weather, it almost to date, जिस दिन अच्छा मौसम आता है उस दिन pollution आ जाता है. I don't know how. Employee safety is a major concern, particularly women's safety. Hygiene and sanitation is a major concern. There are intra-state disputes, particularly if the political parties in the states are different, that becomes more. If you move closer to election, those disputes get magnified. Northeast, we saw ethnic violence in Manipur. It is a reminder of how fragile our hard-won peace is. Those in the Fauj, they would have seen people have worked very hard to build peace there. And Sheikh Hasina regime's overthrow, that is not good news for us. Jammu and Kashmir, again, no war, no peace still. First time elections, so well done. Good elections. And there is war of narratives. Basically, by attacking forces and civilians, terrorists want to dent the government's credibility, its ability to protect people and claims of normalcy. Protests. Ek minute here, can you please? So protests, ladies and gentlemen, globally about 150 countries are there which have had significant anti-government protests. This is not my data, this is from Carnegie Endowment. So we are not the only country, but India, it can happen for a lot of reasons, from political, electoral, communal, farmers, transport, union related. And thing about India is situation can deteriorate rapidly and spin out of control. So tell foreigners, don't take panga. You know, whenever you are here. Again, e-commerce, I will leave the cyber security risks. Let's come to the second para. So you will find this large concentration of delivery boys and girls in close touch, moving very fast, driving on the wrong side, trying to jump red light, in touch with increasingly demanding customers. They are working against very tight deadlines, and that is leading to friction, accident, theft and fraud. And operational risks are leading to reputational, financial and business risks. And from quick commerce, from e-commerce, now you're moving to quick commerce. So what makes the situation worse? So firstly, our infrastructure is not good. I mean, there is social media is leading to a lot of polarization. Bureaucracy is very famous in India. Both in places bureaucracy is doing well. So give the credit where it is due, but where it is not due, please hold them accountable. Capacity, the state is simply stressed. We don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough police people, rumors, social media, connectivity. So that is all. So I am done. Happy to take any questions. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure it will be a comment, not a question, because very difficult. I think it is coming from Kautilya's time, Chanakya's time. Whenever you are not able to hold, whenever you are not able to, solve your own problem, you can always blame it on your neighbor. Even Trump is blaming that, look, every country has ripped us apart, so now we are going to make America great again. So I think it's pretty much as per the playbook. When the country is doing well, and there are a lot of good stories to talk, economy is growing 7%, a lot of jobs are being created, India is winning the World Cup. So when things are going good, everybody wants to take it, you're winning, the ruling party is winning elections, then nobody claims. But the moment things starts going down, you start having, numbers coming out, recession is hitting in, stock markets are going down, people are losing jobs, protests are happening, becoming more frequent, onion ka price is becoming 80 rupees, or tomato is becoming 75 rupees, or chicken or egg is becoming expensive. So those are the times that you start finding ki Pakistan, videshi taakton ka haath hai. So it has been happening from, Indira Gandhi's time.
So, but India as a country has a lot of opportunity for domestic growth. Our domestic consumption is huge. You spoke about China having less of domestic consumption in terms of what it is producing. Given the world where it is right now, growing at 3%, how do you see the growth forecast for India and the risk?
So I will slightly disagree with you, because we also tell foreigners, we show them 1.4 billion people, and we get them here, we get them enticed here. But if you ask Kishore Biyani, he will tell you, Kishore Biyani gave once the statistics, and I love it. He says in India, roughly your buying power is 20 crore people. They are the only ones who can buy something else. Another 40 crore are the people who support them. So let's say if you are in a house, there will be some driver, there will be some maid, so 2 more people supporting you and some more, their families. So the total purchasing power in India is related to probably a small fraction. See, we are a 3,000, we are a $2,700 GDP country. The West, most of the developed countries are at 60,000, 65,000, US would be at 65,000, Singapore and what would be probably a little more than that. Switzerland would be 85,000. So we can't compare with them. So an average guy there is about 40 times more richer. So purchasing power is limited to that 20 crore people. So a lot of it is good that when we tell foreigners, we also go and tell them stories. But we have to be...
So it has to be export orientation that can create the growth opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. And services has been a proven and tested model. So young entrepreneurs like you and many others who will be winning the awards, so they all have a duty to do and take India forward. So we must thank Business World and
thank
the
you,
entire team, sir. We want to thank your entire team for the lovely session. Any other questions? I'll be because most of you will be quickly waiting to get your awards. So I don't want to stand between you and the awards. When I used to be in your position, I would be excitedly looking forward to it. So thank you very much.